Hi, everybody. Scott Fuller here with another edition of the Market Insider Series with leavingthebayarea.com. And thanks for joining us today. Every week, we travel to a different location and we look at some of the different places where we see Bay Area residents and also California residents relocate to for a better cost of living, better quality of life, and a lot of other different reasons. And today, we are going to the other side of the country. We're going to go beachside Charleston, South Carolina with Kim Boerman. Kim, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Scott. How about yourself?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you for asking. I appreciate you taking the time to join us today and give us some information on what's going on in Charleston. And you're with Agent Owned Realty. Tell me a little bit, just to kind of start off, give me your background on, your time in Charleston, what took you there, and all that kind of good stuff.
Sure. Well, thanks for having me, first of all. What brought me to Charleston, I lived in Salt Lake City, Utah. Went to school in Logan, where I met my husband, and his family had landed in Charleston and purchased a bed and breakfast downtown in the historic area, and they had invited him to come run the business. So that brought us to Charleston about 25 years ago, and probably about 2 years into my stay here, I decided that I would go into real estate and have been in real estate ever since.
Okay, so you've been in Charleston for a long time, and clearly you like it because you're still there.
That's
and
right.
then you've been in real estate for a long time, and clearly you're doing well with that because you're still doing it, right?
That's right. I love it. It's a busy, busy market here.
Now, do you guys have a lot of people moving into the area more recently, or is it kind of just, the standard, people coming in, moving out type of a thing? Are you seeing a change in that?
There's been a huge change. So over the past several years, continually we're rated #1 city in the country. We have lots going on here in the area. And so it's bringing a lot of people from up north and out west. We also have a lot of growth in industry. So we're seeing a big boom here in the Charleston area.
That's awesome. And we'll talk a little bit more about the industry growth and some of the companies that are moving in. Do you see a lot of people coming in from New York, New Jersey area? Is that a big spot for people to come in from?
Yes, we see New York, New Jersey, Ohio is a huge area that people are coming from. And then Seattle, because we have Boeing here, and California. Really all over, where we have people coming from all over, but those are the main cities.
Yeah, awesome. And what percentage would you say, if you break it down, what percentage of people are coming there for retirement versus working families getting transferred or taking a new job opportunity in the area?
I would say that we're probably seeing a 50-50. We're seeing a lot of people that are either buying their second homes, getting ready for retirement, or transferring, but I think it's evenly split. We have a lot of people coming here to retire. The weather is beautiful, and there's so much to do. So
beach life, right? I mean, where else better to retire? You've got the beach there, you've got great weather.
That's right. That's right. Very, very mild climate and outdoor living most of the year.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. So, and we'll get into the weather because I know a lot of people are going to ask questions, would have questions about the weather. So we'll talk about that as well. But the first thing I want to get into is, when people come to us and say, Scott, we're considering, a couple of different cities to go to, maybe Charleston is one of those. We want to get an idea of what can you buy? And we have, quite a few people who have built up a fairly substantial amount of equity, right? So they're looking to come out and, say, what can I get for, maybe $500,000 if I built up that kind of equity? So maybe if you wouldn't mind, if you want to share your screen, because I know you pulled up a couple of different examples that we can look at. But what can you get for your money in Charleston?
Sure. So let me just pull up. The main area that people like to be close to is downtown Charleston. They usually move here. Let me go ahead and put a map up so that you can see this. They like to be close to the restaurants and all of the activities that are going on. So when people call us, we ask, what is it that you like to do? Is it golfing? Is it dining? Is it beaches? And if it's being close to the beach and being close to downtown Charleston, one of the areas that's very popular is Mount Pleasant, which is right here. Here's the peninsula, downtown Charleston. This is where the historic area is. And this is Mount Pleasant, which is close to Sullivan's Island and Isle of Palms Beach. It also has lots of restaurants and shopping and things like that. So
is that kind of the touristy place also when people come to visit?
Yeah, well, there's golf there, so they would come to golf, and also there are a lot of waterfront restaurants. So we do see people coming to visit the Mount Pleasant area to come see some of the sites. Yeah.
Okay.
Two of the properties that I have featured. The first one is this property, which is located in Dunes West. Dunes West is a gated community. It has a golf course. It's got a water park in it. It's got properties that have a little bit more acreage. This particular property has 1 acre. You can see it has a pool. Some of the properties in Dunes West are on the water.
You said that this actually has a water park as part of the community?
Yes, a small water park. It's got
a
very, very large pool with different slides for the kids. It's got tennis, walking trails. It's really beautiful. Would you like to see some of the pictures?
Yeah. Show us some photos. So I think that from the other screen, that was a 4-bedroom, 3-bath. I'm not sure if I caught that.
Right. So this particular property is 5,600 square feet. It's a 4-bedroom, 4-bath home. It's located on 1 acre. And let's see if it has anything like a dock. Some of the properties in Dunes West are on the water. This particular one isn't. If we're looking at waterfront in Dunes West, which is Tidal Creek, which leads to deep water, you're looking at about $1 million.
Okay, so on the water, deep water, $1 million, and then look quite a bit less, right? Right here, we're looking at 800,000 for this property, which is huge. I mean, 5,000 square feet, right?
Right, and you can get in Dunes West for 500,000 for a much smaller home. And there are also in Dunes West, you also have single family attached, so there are townhomes if you're looking for something that's a lock and leave.
Okay. And a house like this, Kim, at this price range, so we're just under $800,000, how long would you expect a house like this to stay on the market?
So this particular home has been on the market since July. When you're getting up in the 800,000, they're not moving as quickly, but it will probably be under contract. You're probably looking at 4 months. Okay, so about $800,000 price range, 4 months. At what lower price range would you expect that it's going to go quicker, where there's going to be, a lot more activity and interest in it? A home in Dunes West that's listed at about $450,000 will not stay on the market. It would go immediately. If you have something in the 5s, you're looking at probably a 30-day time frame. Got it. Okay, so that's going to go a lot more quickly. Okay. That's right. Mm-hmm. Yes. Another area in Mount Pleasant, which is located a little bit closer to downtown, is this property in Hidden Lakes. This property is located, let me just pull up the map, because this is very close to the Isle of Palms, which is a beach. It sits right on the other side of the Isle of Palms connector. So let's see. I lost it. Here we are. So here's the Isle of Palms right here. This is a beautiful ocean area. Wild Dunes is a gated community with golf and a wonderful place to go staycation. This property, you just drive down this connector and you're there within 10 minutes. It's also got a lot of shopping. There's a town center in Mount Pleasant that's got a lot of restaurants, and then your regular shops that you know, Pier 1, things like that, and then some specialty boutique shops. This
Got it.
particular property is on a set of lagoons, and there's a 50-acre lake in this community. So you can take electric boats, nothing gas powered, but canoes, kayaks, paddle boards, things like that.
Oh, that's great. And it looks like that's about 4,000 square feet, 5-bedroom, 3.5 baths. So another really good sized home.
Right, right. And in this particular neighborhood, you can probably get in this neighborhood for about 525. So for a smaller house, maybe 2,300 square feet.
Mm-hmm.
I'll show some photos. Possibly it has some of the lake. So this one sits right on one of these lagoons with a little dock. It's really nice because it gives you a little bit of privacy. You're not right on top of your neighbor.
Now here's an odd question. Are there fences between homes there generally?
When it's on a lake like this, no, they don't allow fences.
Okay, got it.
They might allow a 4-foot picket wrought iron fence. In Dunes West, you can have fences, no problem.
Okay.
Both of the properties that I picked happen to be, well, this one's on water. The other one, we didn't really get some outdoor photos, but Mount Pleasant, this area that's very popular, and when people call, that's what we hear. We want to be in Mount Pleasant because they hear people talking about it. You are going to get in entry level at 5. If you're in the 4s, you're a very, very small home that needs updates, and then so you're looking at, without having to do a lot of updates, 500 to start, all the way up to a couple $1 million. But there's lots to choose from. And you can be in Mount Pleasant anywhere from 5 minutes to 20 minutes from downtown Charleston, and very close to the beaches.
Perfect. Okay.
So another area that I wanted to talk about is Somerville. Somerville has gained in popularity tremendously over the last little bit. We have some 55 and over communities in Somerville. And let's see, let me back this out a little bit so I can show you. Somerville is farther away from downtown Charleston. You're looking at probably 35 to 40 minutes.
And is there traffic to that, or is that just kind of a standard, that's how long it takes to get there regardless of traffic?
That's depending upon traffic. So to get from this particular property, which is at the very edge of Somerville, down to the peninsula, you're looking at 30 minutes.
Okay.
The affordability is much better in Somerville. You're going to get a lot more bang for your buck. And there are several very, very popular restaurants that are down in the historic district that people come from all over the country to visit, that have now, they're making second locations in Somerville in this area called Nexton, to provide that type of living or accommodations or amenities or experiences, and then so that you don't have to drive all the way downtown.
That's the nice thing about it. It looks like that might be a picture of what we're looking at here, is the amenities for that community. Is that right?
Right. So this is a property located in Nexton. Nexton has, it's in the process of building up. This is a Dale Webb community. It's 55 and over. It's beautiful. This particular listing is 3 bedrooms, 3 baths, 2,400 square feet, 405,000. So this is proposed construction, so you would get to tailor it however you wanted. You could add as many upgrades as you'd like. And there's not many pictures, but I have another property in Nexton to kind of give you an idea of what the houses look like. They're all of these kind of cottage look, craftsman style, closer together, and hardy plank siding. More
and this
modern.
would be maybe one of the model homes right here, one of the finished models?
Yes.
Okay. So you had mentioned earlier, Kim, that the people that are moving in, about 50% are coming in for work, maybe 50% are coming in for retirement. What percentage of the people coming in for retirement are opting for an active adult community like this versus something that, you know, is just kind of a standalone?
It's funny because a lot of people will call and say that they want an active adult community. And then the more time that we spend with them, they realize that they can achieve the result of what they're looking for in these active communities in other areas because Charleston has so much to offer. So you've got planned communities that have a lot of amenities like Dunes West. It's not an active adult community, but they've got a clubhouse, they've got the pool, they've got golf and tennis, and they have homeowners meetings and events. So there aren't a lot of active 55 and over communities. They're becoming more popular, but the majority of our people that call for those usually end up in different neighborhoods.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice to have all those amenities. And so are the active adult communities, are they like Somerville, are they usually a little bit farther out? Since
Yes.
that's where the land is, I would imagine.
Right, exactly. So Somerville has 3 or 4 communities right now. Mount Pleasant has 1, and that's it. But they are popping up, but that's it right now. But you really can achieve, like I said, that same result closer in. And I think that's what people are surprised about and happy about because they can be closer to the beach and things like that.
Yeah. So it sounds like you can, out in Somerville, when you're maybe 20 to 30 miles out, you can get, you know, about 450,000 or so for a nice home. You get a little bit closer to the beach, you might be 500 to 700, maybe 800, and then as you're getting along the beach, you're going to be $1 million plus. Is that fair to say?
Correct. That's right. There are some homes on the beach, not on the water, but on the beach where you can walk to the water in just a couple of minutes. And I have a couple of those right here to show you. Folly Beach, we have several different beaches in the Charleston area. Folly Beach is a little bit more bohemian. So it's, think, just kind of rustic beach town, little beach bars, things like that. Isle of Palms is a little bit more manicured. And that's where a lot of tourists go, that and Folly Beach. Sullivan's Island, the homes are, that's where the stars live. That's where it's mostly residential, very, very high prices. And then Kiowa Island, lots of golf, things like that. But Folly, which is close to downtown, you can be downtown in 20 minutes. You can be to the airport in 20 minutes. It's an awesome little community. There are 2 homes that I have chosen. One, it has some beautiful views of the marsh and the intercoastal. This is listed for $775.
So you've really got some privacy there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's beautiful. And you can just have a quick golf cart ride to the beach or jog to the beach. But you can see they're a little bit older.
Yeah.
It's
definitely got the tropical decor, right?
Right. And see, this is 1,500 square feet. So this is a smaller home, 2 bedroom, 2 bath. And then you have this other one, 1,900 square feet approximately, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. They're raised for flood purposes. That's how they're required to be built. And just a little bit more rustic. So you can get on the ocean or right close to the ocean in the 700s, and you can get there in a townhouse or condo for 500,000 or 600,000 if you like.
And what would it, for like a townhouse or condo, what would an average monthly HOA look like?
On the beach, it's going to be higher because you've got flood insurance to contend with.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
You might be looking at $400, maybe more per month, depending. It depends on the size. For a regular condo or townhouse in the Charleston area, an average amount is anywhere from about $190 to $280, depending.
And keeping in mind, I mean, a lot of people might think, well, geez, you know, $200 to $400, that's a lot. But when you're, you know, insurance is included, a lot of times the exterior maintenance and the roof and siding, and so you're including a lot of that, right? Sometimes even some of the utilities. So it's
Right.
probably not that much.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Oh, and it does. It includes the flood insurance also. So when you add those things up, and if you're just kind of buying a second home, it's great because you can lock and leave and you don't have to worry about it. When we have a lot of second homeowners here, or people that are planting their roots and they're going to come over a little bit later. They're starting the process, but they're not ready to quite make the move.
So as far as traffic is concerned, would you mind popping up the map there?
Sure.
Is the traffic really seasonal, as you know, from weather perspective, or is it kind of weekend traffic? I mean, what does that look like? Because there's so many second homes and so many people coming in, maybe just for visiting purposes.
Right. So our traffic has increased a bit because we have a lot of people moving here. We do have seasonal traffic getting to the beach. So if you want to go to the beach on the weekends, you want to leave early so that you're not sitting in traffic.
Okay.
Because our islands are barrier islands a lot of times. There's only one way in and one way out. So everyone's heading in the same direction. But it's not unbearable. Like when I have people that are moving here from LA or Atlanta or whatever, and we're stuck in traffic, they say, oh, this is nothing compared to where we're coming from.
Yeah, it's not going to scare most people away that are coming from California, the Northeast, right?
No, not at all. Not at all. So it's regular, hours, rush hour traffic. You just need to plan in advance, but it's nothing like sitting in the car for 2 hours unless something's happened,
Yeah, got it. Okay. Nothing that we're not used to out here.
Right. But we aren't a snowbird community. So if you're thinking about a lot of people that come in for the summer and then leave, it's typically not that. We don't have that variance with our
okay.
Right. It's pretty
So it's
steady.
more the weekend traveler, or come out for a week or two, right, type thing.
What's that?
So more of just like the weekend traveler wanting to go to the beach, or maybe somebody's taking a trip for a week or two and then they're gone, but it's not seasonal.
Right. Exactly.
Okay. Awesome. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about healthcare and availability for hospitals and clinics, because a lot of people that we talk to, when they're thinking about making a move somewhere else, they're 50 or over. I mean, one of their biggest concerns is what's the availability of healthcare. So tell us a little bit about, I would imagine with 50% of the people that are coming in are aging. What would you say? What does that look like as far as the healthcare offerings there?
Sure. So we have a lot of healthcare. It's one of our biggest employers here. Downtown Charleston, we have MUSC, the medical university. We've got the Veterans Hospital. We've got Roper St. Francis. And then right over into West Ashley, which we haven't really talked about, but that's another community that is right on. So let me just show you really quickly something about Charleston. So Charleston is a peninsula. Let's see, can we move this? This is Charleston right here. This peninsula right here. And it's surrounded by the Cooper River. And on the other side of the Cooper, east of the Cooper is Mount Pleasant. West of the Ashley River is West Ashley. This is a very popular area also. These areas that border the peninsula are super popular. That's where people want to live. We have 2 hospitals over here in West Ashley, Roper St. Francis being one of them. We have East Cooper Hospital, which is a brand new hospital over here in Mount Pleasant. And then you've got several downtown Charleston. You've got in North Charleston, you've got a hospital called Trident Hospital. And then in Somerville, they just launched a huge new hospital the other night. They actually gave a free country music concert from some big name. I'm not sure who it was. I just kept seeing on Facebook that everyone was like, we're at the concert at Berkeley Hospital. So they just opened a beautiful new facility up in Somerville in the Nexton area where I was talking about. So there is a lot of healthcare here in the area.
So pretty much, I mean, it sounds like no matter where you're at, you're going to be within minutes of a healthcare provider or a clinic or something, right?
Correct. Yes.
That's great. Yes. Okay. And you mentioned that healthcare is one of the larger employers there. Tell us a little bit more about, the industry and business there. So what are some of the more dominant businesses in Charleston? Where do people work, and where are you seeing the growth in some of that industry?
So recently we've had Boeing and Volvo and Mercedes come to the area, and they are bringing a lot of people with them. So we have a lot of transplants from those areas where their home bases were. We have the Mercedes plant, which is painting all of the Amazon Sprinter vans. I think they're called Sprinter vans.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So we have that contract. We have a huge new supplement company just moved in. But the bigger employers is we have Joint Base Charleston, so military. We have a lot of military here. We have an Air Force base. We have a naval weapons station. We also have the hospital is the medical field is a huge employer in the area. Then we have Boeing, like I said. We have hospitality, because we have so much tourism and so many festivals and so many things that are going on all the time here. We just have a huge hospitality industry.
Yeah, we've got to support it, right? There's so much, like you said, there's so much going on and so many people visiting.
Right. So the jobs are spread really across so many different industries that it's a great place to come and work and live. Honestly, it's beautiful.
Yeah. Let's get into, we talked a little bit about, home price trends, and, you mentioned average days on market. On the lower end, it's going to be within 30 days usually, or maybe less. And on the higher end, maybe you're looking at 4 months plus. Let's talk a little bit about taxes out there. And that's something that, California don't really like talking about that, because it seems like they keep going up.
Right.
But you guys have a state income tax, is that right?
That's right.
Okay, and what is that? Do you know off the top of your head what that is? I know sometimes.
I have it right here. So it's 7%.
Did you say 7? Okay.
That's right.
And that's probably the top rate, I would imagine, right? The top
right.
tier.
It's 3 to 7%.
Okay, 3 to 7. So we're about 7.25% up to 13.3%. So obviously we're quite a bit higher. And I always like to mention this on our webinars, because people want to know, like, what's it going to look like if from a financial perspective and a tax perspective, if I'm moving to a different state. And, full disclosure, we always recommend to people, talk to your financial planner, your wealth advisor, your CPA on how, it impacts you moving to, South Carolina or where you're going to. But it sounds like, ours is quite a bit higher than that. How does the property tax rates work there? Because I know a lot of states have different ways that they structure the tax rate.
Right. So it's funny, because when we have people in the car, they'll say, so what are the taxes? And I might say, oh, they're $2,300. Let's say we're looking at a $300 or a $400,000 home, right?
Yeah.
You're looking at about $2,000, $2,100. So I'll say, oh, about $2,100. They're like, a month? I say, no, a year, because they're usually coming from up north when they ask that question.
Yeah.
Because the taxes are so high. So for a $300,000 house, they're about $1,800. So you figure for 600, it's double. So $3,600 for the year for a $600,000 home. And then you get some discounts when you're over a certain age. If it's a second home, the rate is a little bit higher. It's at a 6% ratio versus a 4% ratio. But primary owners, primary residents, it's very, very low.
So it sounds like, and without trying to do a bunch of calculations in my head, I mean, we're looking at 0.5% to maybe a little 0.8%, something like that. I mean, it's well under 1% annually, seems like.
Oh, yeah. Oh, by far.
Yeah. We're at 1.25% is our base tax rate. And then, of course, if you're in an area where they've recently built schools or new communities that have amenities and features for that, you might be up to 1.5%, maybe 1.75% effective rate annually, right? So I would say that's at least double of what you guys are seeing over there. What about your sales tax? Do you know what your sales tax is roughly?
The sales tax in Charleston is 9%. In Somerville, it's 6%.
Okay,
So Dorchester County, it's
that's a big
lower.
difference.
Charleston County is higher.
Yeah, that's quite a bit. Is that because there's so much more goods sold in that area? People are going to buy them?
Over in Charleston,
Yeah.
I'm not sure why the taxes are higher over there. I really don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
if it's a hospitality thing or what's going on, but it's higher. I don't know
Well,
why.
we're closer to that. We're at about 8.25%. I mean, it varies depending on county, but we're about 8.25%, and it goes up depending on the county that you're in. But, certainly taxes seem to be a lot more advantageous there than here, which doesn't surprise me.
Right.
Let's go into weather a little bit because tell us about. I'm sure a lot of people have the question that you guys are you affected a lot by hurricanes and flooding and things like that. So let's talk about that first, but then we'll get into all the great things that the weather brings you guys regularly.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's important to address that because I think that people are concerned about that. It's a little bit unnerving when they see on the news that there are these storms. So
Yeah.
we did back in 2015, we had what was called the 1,000-year flood, and it rained and rained and rained for days on end, and we got so much water, it just sat over the Charleston area. And so we saw flooding. We saw flooding not over the entire area, just in some little pockets. So we know where those areas are. They're a little bit lower lying areas. And it's not like that happens all the time. It was kind of a freak of nature. The downtown area does flood a little bit, even at high tide. We're at sea level. We're called the low country, but they're used to it. It's not this, it'll rain. It might in the marketplace, get a few inches of water, and then it'll go back out when the tide goes out.
Okay.
As far as hurricanes go, we have plenty of warning when they're coming. So just recently we had Dorian was supposed to be a hit on Charleston, and they did a mandatory evacuation. So they give you plenty of time to leave. I didn't leave. A lot of my friends didn't leave. We kind of have a rule. Personally, if it's a 3 or less, then we'll stay. If it's going to be more, then we'll leave. And you can tell as you're watching it come towards the area. You have insurance. You just get used to it. It's not. It probably the first time you're a little bit nervous, but after a while, it is a way of life. And but it's not all the time. And you can just leave and go to a hotel if you need to leave, and your property's insured. But you have plenty of notice.
Yeah, got it. How much, and that brings up a good point that I didn't ask about in relation to housing costs. How much is insurance? I mean, how much, is it more than what you would normally pay because of the flood risk?
No, so all of Charleston is in a flood zone. However, there are different categories of flood zones. So an X flood zone does not require a mandatory flood insurance policy from your lender. If you pay cash, you don't have to buy one. If you're in an AE zone, then you are required to have flood insurance. And it can range anywhere from, $200 a year to a lot higher if you're on the ocean. So, and honestly, if you're buying a $2 million house, then you can expect that you're going to have some higher expenses.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Yeah. So, I mean, you're talking to you and your team are talking to your buyers and saying, you have some options and here's the pros and cons, cost-wise and otherwise, of being in these specific areas. So they know what they're getting into.
Right. And we can do searches based on whether or not a property is required to have flood insurance. So if that's a concern of theirs, then we just make sure that we don't pull any of those in the search.
So let's talk about what the weather's like generally speaking. I mean, I know that it's a big surf culture, right? Mm-hmm. Beach culture there. So talk to us about kind of what the weather is and what people do recreationally there.
Sure. So right now it's 91 degrees outside.
Okay.
and it's October. It's unseasonably warm right now, but you know, we don't see in the winter, we might see a few days, maybe a week's worth of weather under the 30 degrees when we're in the dead of the winter, and that's at night. During the winter time, you are looking at, you know, 50 to 70 degrees. You know what they say, if you don't like the weather in Charleston, wait 20 minutes because it changes so much. It can be 50 degrees and then 2 hours later it's 90 degrees. But it's a very mild climate. I came from Utah. I don't wear a coat anymore. Occasionally I will wear a coat at nighttime in the winter.
Really?
But
Okay.
yeah, you know, when people are buying homes, we always want to make sure that they have the opportunity, if they can afford it, to have a screen porch, because you can do so much outdoor living almost year round. It does, we're in a humid climate, so you can ditch your moisturizer once you move here because it's just like you're hydrated constantly.
Yeah.
But in the summertime, it gets hot. It gets hot. There are a couple months where it's hot, but during those months, you are either at the beach where you have a cool breeze, or you're inside where it's air conditioned, you know, or in the
Yeah.
shade. So it's a beautiful, beautiful climate, and it is wonderful to be warm. You don't have to worry about shoveling any snow here or anything like that.
So if somebody,
You don't have to
speaking
worry
of
about
snow,
shoveling snow where you are though either. So
no, I'm not shoveling snow. I mean, it's normally in the wintertime, you're about a 3 hour drive from snow anyway. So we got a little ways, but how far is it from you? Like if there was somebody who was into skiing or snowboarding, how far do you have to go to do that?
so you could go to North Carolina. It's about 3.5 hours.
Okay, not bad.
Mhm. Right. Yeah. Asheville and some different areas up there. And it's beautiful up there to go visit. And if you're needing a little break from the heat, you can just go up there and go to the mountains.
Yeah, that's nice. Probably you lose the humidity and get a little bit difference in the temperature overall, right?
Right. That's right.
So golf is big there. Is that right?
Golf is huge. Yes.
Do you golf? Are you out there golfing?
I can drive a cart really well. And
But not a ball.
and I can hit a ball at Top Golf, and I'm learning how to golf right now.
There you go.
But there's so many different courses in every area, public and private. But you don't have to join clubs. There are so many different options. There's ocean courses. There's river courses and harbor courses. I mean, it's a golfer's dream,
Yeah.
really. Um, we also have tennis here. We have a big tennis venue. We have the Women's U.S. Open here that we
Oh, that's
hold.
right. Yep.
Lots of concerts. We have an arts festival every year. It's called Spoleto. It runs for 2 weeks, and it's just filled with all different areas of arts that come in from out of town. We've got our Cooper River Bridge Run, which is one of the largest bridge runs. We have a wildlife festival. There's literally something going on every single weekend in Charleston.
Oh, that's perfect. Kim, would you mind closing out your screen share here just as we kind of wrap it up? So we've covered a lot of information, and the goal of this really is to say, okay, we're going to take about 45 minutes and just do a very high level overview of what it's like to live there. But is there anything that I didn't bring up that maybe you want to talk about? What do people need to know about?
No, I mean, honestly, I think that what people need to know are there's so many different options. We highlighted several price ranges that were in the higher end. There are different areas in the community that are in the 225 to 400 range. So if that's your price range, we have that. If you're under 2, it's a little bit more difficult, but we can find it. And there's just so many different areas depending upon what you want to do, whether it be in a golf community, an equestrian community, a beach community. We cover 3 different counties, and they vary so much in options.
Yeah.
So we really, when our clients come, we take them on an exploration of the area. They really need a few days to kind of learn everything, and they'll know, like, this is my fit, you know, this is my area. But it's our pleasure to show them the different areas so that they have a better understanding, because the 3 counties are very large, but they are all very relatively close to the amenities that they might want, or the downtown area.
You read my mind, because that was going to be my next question. If somebody had an interest in coming out to visit the area and they wanted to learn a little bit more about it, maybe, you know, take a look at a couple of different properties, something you guys are open to doing?
Of course, yes, we would love to do that.
Perfect.
Would love
That's
to do
great.
that.
Okay. Well, I think we've covered everything here. So any last thoughts, Kim? We got it all for now, until we hop off and remember that we forgot a bunch of stuff, right? That usually happens.
I would love to help anyone that's coming to the area. I would be happy to show them around, and I have a team, and you wouldn't be sorry if you moved to Charleston.
Yeah, that's great. It looks like a beautiful place. I haven't made it out there, but that's on the bucket list at some point. So
yeah, you'll have to let us know when you're coming.
Absolutely.
We'll hook you up with some great food downtown.
There you go. I love it. All right, Kim. Well, again, appreciate your time. And if anybody is watching this and they want to get in contact with us or talk to Kim and her team out there, info@leavingthebayarea.com. We can get you all taken care of and go out and spend some time with Kim's team out there, get some great food, have some fun, and take a look at the quality of life out there. Probably amazing.
Thank you, Scott.
All right, Kim. We'll be in touch. Take care. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate your time. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.